Thank you for tuning in to Cop with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen with comic Vanja Renee. Vanja Renee, how the hell are you?
I'm great.
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. We follow you everywhere. You are just the Vanja Renee on Instagram with thousands of followers. You, of course, have an active Facebook presence. They can check you out there. That's Vanja Renee as well. And then VanjaRenee.com. Is that where they're going to find out your Venmo digits so they can Venmo you some dough for being hilarious?
Oh, exactly. They could just add Vanja Renee on Venmo as well. All those
I love
places.
Fucking love it. Well, what we're going to talk about real quick before we get into Back to the Future, which is just the reason for being in life. Like, what are you happy about as far as projects coming up?
Well, I've got some really fun stuff coming up. I actually got casted in a play very recently. Right.
Wow.
I can't wait.
In COVID times, are you going to have to wear a mask?
Well, it's very early. So very preliminary stages right now, at a very preliminary stage right now. It is not going to, I think it's going to open in April or May. So right now, just baby stepping.
Could it be outside or not really?
I'm not sure. It's going to be at the Los Angeles Theater Center. It's in downtown Los Angeles. Very beautiful stage. I've actually performed on the stage before.
Oh, cool.
Very high end production quality. It's going to be great.
What's the play?
Gosh, I just got cast. Let's see, what is even the name?
Or what's your part that you're excited to kind of show off?
I'm actually playing a historical figure. Yeah.
Okay.
So
what do we know about this historical figure, if anything?
Well, she's a writer. Again, this is all very new, but if I can remember, a writer from Harlem, was in Harlem during sort of the Harlem Renaissance, Black writer Zora Neale Hurston.
Okay.
And even if I don't look like her, they're saying, capturing the spirit of her, because she was kind of spunky and fun and funny.
Oh, good. That's more important.
Just sort of, capturing that. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And her birthday is close to mine. I'm January 6th. She's January 7th.
So you're the same star sign or whatever? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we're both
astrology sign, the Capricorn. So that's going to matter because you got the same vibe, right? That's what they should do with casting. It shouldn't matter if you look like the person or not.
Like, do you have the same sign? That's just like, I know everything I need to know.
So you got the play coming out. Anything
She's
else?
An asshole. No, she's an asshole.
That's
funny. I need to know.
Yeah, getting cast for something and then figuring out later it's because she was an asshole that they cast.
Right? That is always the worst. Like, oh no, we cast you in this because this person's a bitch. That's really out to curse on here. Just really.
Oh, please do. Please do. Anything else?
Because I have a mouth.
It's that Capricorn vibe.
It's the Capricorn. Let's see what else is going on. I just got booked over at the Laugh Factory. I'll be making my debut over there. But yeah,
is that a big room? Are you scared?
It's a big
nervous?
room. It's
okay.
I am nervous in a very fun and excited way.
Okay, more like if I fill the seats, I won't be nervous at all during my set.
Exactly. Well, the Laugh Factory kind of has its own crowd, so they're gonna.
Good.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about. Hopefully they'll see my name and think, oh, Vanja, who's that? But I think
you've made it. Like if you get to that point where they're supplying the crowds, we're ready to laugh. I think you've made
it. Right. So I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be. It's just I've been having a fun last few. 2021 was just a lot of fun for me. Yes, we were in the.
During the pandemic, that's where Vanja really
right. When people were the saddest, I was happy.
That makes sense. That's as it should be. Have you been posting stand-up clips like throughout the pandemic or no?
Here and there. Some rooms aren't very hip on you posting your stand-up room.
Really?
So be very careful about that. Yeah.
Wow. How come?
I'm not sure. My guess would be if you have the name of the comedy club in the background, and maybe you're saying something they don't agree with, and then you post, right? It seems like it's coming from them. That's my only thought. I don't know.
I would almost think that as long as you paid for the tape, because we're selling you the tape. Like, yeah, we're going to pay you $100 for the night, but you're going to pay $200 for the tape.
Well, there's that, right? But I think Right. But if you're doing like sort of renegade or guerrilla style taping, yeah,
Yes.
you know what? I think that's what it is. You didn't pay us for that tape. That's really what it's
Well, these are
really
things
what
that
it's
you
about.
kind of experience with comedy that, of course, you could have told your younger self if you had a time machine. So tell me,
Oh my
first of
God.
all, your interest and love for the trilogy that is Back to the Future. What
Are
do you
you
like
kidding
about it?
me?
Yeah, what do you like
Fine.
about it? And is there anything you don't like about
Everything.
it? Okay. Good.
Absolutely everything. Okay, and
Good.
I don't want to offend any Back to the Future-y people, but the third one, not a huge fan. But
Yeah.
I like Westerns.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Westerns in Back to the, I don't know, for some reason, I'm not saying I'm still not a fan. I still love the third one,
You
but
didn't buy Marty McFly and his Western attire in the saloon.
that is so funny. Right, exactly. I didn't buy it. I do have the Marty McFly doll, though. The Marty McFly doll. I have a couple of DeLoreans. I have.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've got. I've got the Funko Pop Doc. I've got the Martys. I've got autographed photos. I've got a huge poster in my room. Oh no, I am a Back to the Future person. I love it so much.
But why do you think it kind of tickled your fancy in such a lasting way? Because we've loved this movie or I've loved it for decades, and so you're
Yeah.
probably younger than me, but you've loved it for years, and so why is it stuck with you when other movies didn't?
Well, there's there's something to be said for the on-camera chemistry,
Yeah.
Jay Fox, and Doc. I mean, there's just first of all, I'm a Foxy. I call myself a Foxy. Michael J. Fox.
When you're saying you're Foxy, it is referring to your love for Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, if you go back to some of the old Family Ties episodes, in the very young Michael J. Fox, I mean, he has a real understanding of comedy,
Wow.
of hitting the beats, of acting in a way that someone so young, I just feel like he had a grasp of acting and of jokes and beats beyond his years.
Did you get into Teen Wolf too?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's a good thing to talk
Absolutely.
about. I was a
Talking
Boof.
about
I was a
Foxy.
Boof. I was a Boof fan. One of the Boofs.
Absolutely. And I even love when the dad got super upset at the end, and then his eyes changed colors because he was also a wolf.
Oh, and he turned into like the gray wolf or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that was good comedy.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox himself. I mean, it's just there's something. He's always acting with that sort of like sparkle in the eye.
Yeah.
Like I think about near the end when everything is, you have that the everything goes wrong moment when he's trying to get back to 1985 and the car won't start, or and the cord drops, and then when he bangs his head on the wheel and then it starts again, and then that look, and he has this constantly surprised thing, and it's so fun.
And I mean, so is there anything, I mean, you probably, because we're talking about this rather than Teen Wolf, this is one of the topics you supplied. Like, is there anything that you liked about Back to the Future as far as the time travel element? Like, if you could go back to Vanja Renee when she was thinking about getting into comedy, for example, like what would you have told her that would have helped her out?
Do it. First of all, don't think about it. Just do it. I think I spent a lot of time dancing around it.
Okay.
And but I was always a stage person. I think it's so silly. I had a little rap group when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And we did like little performances around the city. And
really? Was it women? Was it girls?
It was me and my little hype man, girl. And her name was Danya. So it was Vanya and Danya.
That's amazing.
And
she made it into the band. She made it as your hype woman just because of her name.
Right. And she was the best. She was bestie. And then we had dancers, twin dancers, Melinda and Belinda. So Vanya and Danya, and then Melinda and Belinda. I mean,
you hold tryouts? How the fuck did you find that? People are interested in your project, but also the similar names. That's bizarre.
Right. That is bizarre when you think back. We were just girls that met in high school, and we were just having a good time.
You were doing this in high school. How did it catch on with the, I mean, was it popular with the high schoolers or no?
What's that?
Like, did your fellow high schoolers, did they come to your shows and think it was cool or
Um,
thought that was uncool?
there was a big talent show. This is like a movie, like a bad movie
Yes.
show at the end. And we had a good time at that talent show, but it was more, we performed just around town, like at
Okay.
different, like rap contests or whatever. Sometimes in areas and in situations that little 15-year-old girls probably shouldn't be in. We were just, oh my God. I had a lot of balls back then.
Yes, I mean, like, so if I'm the younger Vanya, and you're the Vanya who comes back to the future and talks to me, and I'm like,
Okay.
hey, Vanya from the future, this is first of all, my voice is awesome. I sound like a male podcaster from New York City. But second of all, like, why would you want me to give up rap and start telling jokes? Like, what is it about this comedy thing that you like so much, or that I like so much in the future?
Right. I like, Vanya, start now. Rap is fun, and it will teach you. Like, rap is fun, but probably dangerous. And I think in a couple of months, you're probably going to go to a show where they're shooting in the back, and I think you're going to give it up then. Like, there were some guys usually literally like were pulling out like guns or something. Yeah.
But then, but I mean, she'd
I'm
be
a
like,
kid.
well, I can, I can go to I can go to less dangerous parts of town. Like, and if I give it up, why shouldn't I just be a dancer? Like, what, yeah, I could just be a dancer like Melinda and Belinda. I have the hype woman already. Like, why should I go into comedy? Like, what's it about it that really I end up liking?
That, because that is where you're really going to find your voice, and you're gonna be able to get as silly as you want. You're gonna make people smile. You're gonna make them laugh, and it's so important. And in the future, people are gonna need that more and more. And I know I sound corny to you, kid, right now, but
You cornball,
yeah,
right?
right? She'd call me a cornball. I'm
but,
much more of a cornball than I was back. Yeah.
But what will I talk about on stage, Vanya, from the future? I mean, what do people want to hear from me?
I would talk about all the mistakes, really mistakes in dating. That's a good one.
I haven't made any mistakes, Vanya, from the future.
Right? Yeah, that's because you haven't been on your first date.
So you're
There'll be tons of mistakes.
You're encouraging me to date first and then go on stage and talk about those dates.
Right?
Okay.
Right? Go on your first date and you'll have plenty of comedy. You'll have plenty of material.
So that's the stuff you're talking about on stage. It's just like, the funny date stories and things like that. And you find out that you have to live kind of a full life to make sure that you're always having comic material to kind of peddle to the masses.
You know what? I think so, Brian. I think it's about, as I mentioned, it's about making a lot of mistakes and just laugh at it, right? Like, I am the kind of person that's like, if someone tells me not to do something, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try it out. I always do, and I'm the hand on the hot stove person. I think you need to laugh at those idiots. Tell me not to do it.
So I mean, is that like, do you have the presence of mind in the moment to be like, I think, I think I really shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it in part because it's going to be hilarious.
I think so. Yeah. I think it's funny. Some comedy shows are like that. Some comedy shows, I don't know, you'll end up in a strange place, or with a strange audience or no audience, or something terrible happens. And we always say, well, you got a story.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be hilarious a couple of weeks from now.
And so, I mean, even like, coming on here, I could have been a weirdo who pretended to be Vanya from the past. And so like, in saying yes to people, which a lot of my comedian guests do, they're like, I kind of started to saying yes to everything. Like, is it, I mean, has it ever kind of led you astray to the point where, hey man, I can't even talk about the shit that happened, because I made X choice, some really dark shit happened and I can't even fucking talk about it. And I should not have done that for comedy.
Oh, that's hilarious. I don't think I've had an experience yet that I'm unafraid to talk about.
Wow.
We walk around like we have it all together, right? That's what Instagram wants to promote. That's what Facebook wants to promote. Look at me, my life is great. I'm beautiful. my house is beautiful. My clothes are beautiful. I make no mistakes. Come on. That's so much pressure. It's really fun for someone to say, actually, there's nothing perfect about me. And then
Right.
people are comfortable to say there's nothing perfect about me either. All right, good.
Yeah.
Let's start being real. Let's start being authentic.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's more interesting anyway, because then you're bringing out things that are unique to you, and you can't be hacked when it comes to kind of the forever fountain of your personal shit. But I'm looking at this Instagram feed. I'm here at Vanya Renee, and let me tell you, there's a lot of pictures where you look pretty put together. So like, are you sending the wrong message to, the people out there who might not be able to take such perfectly professional pictures?
Oh, that is very funny. That is a good point, Brian. I just say this is marketing. But
Okay.
right, because what's funny is people will see this marketing, right? Sometimes like these really nice photos and I'm looking cute or whatever. And then they come to the show and like, what's up? I make mistakes. I'm like, who is this person? What's up? I can't have a date or I can't get a date or whatever. And they're like, what?
Yeah. So how do
What's
you
up?
kind of
I'm a
how do
huge
you how do you
nerd.
yeah, how do you reconcile the two?
I like it. I like shock when they come in. Like when they hear me just go on and on, like drone on and on about Back to the Future. And they're like, what? I think it's fun. I think it's funny.
But
I
is,
like to play with people's perceptions.
well, that's cool. That's cool. But like, what I mean, I guess young Vanya Renee would kind of look at this and be like, all right, you're living your best life. I think it's a good move. But is there anything in young Vanya Renee's life where you'd go back and you'd tell her, there's this one thing that you should avoid like the plague. There's only one event in your life where you should have turned in the other direction. Like, is there anything that you could reveal about, oh, you shouldn't have gone to school and took all that debt on? Or I think you have a pretty successful corporate job. So would you be like, don't take a corporate job, or do take a corporate job because you need
Ooh.
that money going forward?
Oh, heck yeah. You know what? Wow. That is because that's a good question because as you were asking it, I was thinking, I think even my wrong turns um, taught me something.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh, so I gained some sort of knowledge or wisdom that I wouldn't have gained otherwise. So I like
Okay.
wrong turns a lot. Um, but if I were to think of one thing, my best friend that I was talking about, Danya, she died. Yeah, she passed away when she was 23.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, there was a fire in her apartment and she was so broke and she had her boyfriend there and they had just had a baby and they couldn't afford to pay for their electricity time. And so they had candles burning apparently and
Oh no.
it was like it was a part of the fire alarm or something instead of like a battery, which is very weird. In this kind of old apartment complex she was living in. If I had known, right, I
Yeah.
would have given her money
Yeah.
and so that
You were
also,
20, you were 23 too. And so it's almost
yeah,
young,
we're both babies.
you can forgive yourself for not like,
We're both broke,
yeah,
right?
she was
That
probably
was
was
her
living her
life.
best. She probably was living her best life. She's like, I'm fucking my boyfriend by candlelight. It's awesome.
Right. And she had a beautiful baby. And so, and they all passed away there in
Oh my
that,
Lord.
I know.
So I mean,
I
so was
know
she your best friend at the time? I mean, were you
she
still real
was.
close? Okay, because
We were still,
she was your hype woman for so long. I can't
right?
imagine that you guys weren't friends
Well,
after that.
That that is interesting. So we were best friends in high school, and then we kind of lost touch a little bit. And then not too long ago, before that incident, we saw each other again, like at a store or something, and we were like, "Have you been? Have you been?" And we started hanging out a little bit more. So we
That's
went,
awesome.
yeah,
There must have been something about that, like she had to see you one last time, the person she
right.
had hyped for so long, like the cosmos or whatever you believe in, God or
I
divine intervention,
absolutely
was like,
believe in that.
yep, we need to put them two together, and that's fucking cool. And so you tell young, so you tell young Vanya Renee, you say, okay, first of all, treasure your hype woman because she's
Yeah,
precious, but also fucking, make sure that she doesn't, fuck, she actually gets the corporate job like you will in the future.
right.
So she can pay for all these things. And so would you have told young Vanya Renee to get a corporate job sooner so that, you could have money and kind of pursue the comedy seriously from an even younger age?
Um,
Is it worth it? Keeping up that balance. I think
I don't
we were
think
talking
so.
about balance a little bit, and it's probably really difficult to keep up the balance while you're trying to, tour LA and tour the country and the world.
Brian, I'm going to say no on the corporate job.
Okay.
At this point, I keep it and I do it because I've already gotten myself on that hamster wheel, right? So
Yeah.
I started working, my first big job was in research in DC at the World Bank. So I already kind of did that hamster wheel, that sort of trajectory that,
Right.
Okay, I want to be this sort of working woman. And I even thought that as a kid, I would dress up like I was going to a corporate job. I'm not even kidding. Like, how do you, like, that was my dress up. I would dress up like I was going to a corporate job, Brian. I'm not even lying. And I would like get a 7-Eleven hot chocolate in the morning because I saw, oh my God. Oh my God.
That's adorable, but it's also so funny that at some point you took off the blazer, you got Danya and Melinda, and you're like, let's
Right.
form a crew.
Right.
That is
But
adorable.
that's funny that you mentioned blazers. I was wearing blazers and like skirts, just like pretty much have been dressing the same way since 15. But I did,
Yes.
but so even then I had that struggle of, do I want to be an artist or do I want to work in the office? And I'm still dealing with that struggle.
Well, good. I
But
mean, it sounds like you're doing both, and it's like you really do. I mean, I have a pretty professional job too, and I noticed that in getting good at juggling at work, it's kind
yeah,
of made me a little bit more juggly, able to juggle at home with respect to other things, with respect to, hobby stuff or pursuits like comedy or
well, how does
whatever.
that go for you? I mean, do you ask that because that's something that you struggle with as well? Like, oh, maybe I should have just gone straight, the artist route.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's cool about me is I interview you funny people, and I have comedy shorts written by you funny people and starring you funny people, and so
Nice,
so
that's
yeah,
sweet.
so for me, it's more, as long as I have enough time and money to do those things, I might be fine. Because previously, I was a lawyer and I had low-paying jobs and shit like that. And it's like
Right.
it wasn't, I had a lot of time, but not a lot of money. And you need the perfect balance between time and money.
You really
Are you
do.
are you finding that? Because even early on, if you'd taken the corporate gig too early, you might not have been able to write enough material. Like you wouldn't have had
Um,
time.
I will say this. There was always plenty of room for material. Even when you're a young person in the corporate world, I'm sure that you could
Phone it in.
this one, right? Because the big bosses would leave and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
or you're handling all of that research and you're just there in your computer late at night. And then all of us little underlings were like, hey, can we afford to go get a beer downstairs? We'll
Yeah.
get our beers. And I'm shocked if any money comes out of the ATM. And they were like, let's get beers. And then we go back to our desk and sometimes we'd sleep there and like wake up like, oh no, I got to change. No one knows I was working this late.
They should know you're working that late. They should
Oh,
know.
that's true.
But I suppose on the way up, I guess that's true. Like even working your way up any sort of careerist track or tract and
Right.
moving up, you kind of have droney jobs a little bit. Like some of that is just, being around and making sure the boss can see you. So you can still let your mind wander to comedy topics.
Right. I mean, and just sort of laughing about how broke we all were and just working our asses off. And we're like, is this ever going to pay off? But the struggle for me, I think, is it's definitely time. And
Yeah.
I work very hard during the day. And then my other career starts at night and sometimes ends at 3 a.m. And then I'm right back in the office. That could be a 7 a.m. meeting.
So when do you sleep?
Very little.
I was
Well,
about to say on the
while my
weekend, but
bosses are talking to me, I'm like, my mind is forward.
you could have been sleeping right now. So thank you so much for not. Thank you so much for saying yes and getting this material. But we follow
Oh.
her everywhere. She's
Oh, Brian.
Oh yeah, Vanja Renee on Instagram. The link tree is Vanja Renee, where you'll see her Venmo. And of course, you're going to want to pay her because she's hilarious. But also Facebook Vanja Renee, VanjaRenee.com. But she shed the blazer. She used to be a little businesswoman. And then she was a rap artist, but right now she's just a corporate person who's hilarious at night. So Vanja Renee, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Brian.